Hey, this is Brook Drumm with Printrbot.com, and I'm about to show you how to take a kit for the Printrbot Smalls and turn it into this. This is the completed Smalls. Now, it is a kit. This is a fun video to do for me because since I designed it and I like to add a little bit of color on when I'm building, this is more in the line of entertainment. But I want you to be encouraged that you don't have to watch this if you don't want to. There's actually, on our product page, you are going to find a link to download the Fusion 360, or the app is the A360 app, for you to view the file that we've drawn. And since we've drawn it all in Fusion 360, very, very cool. You can just look at this model at your convenience. You don't have to like start and stop a video like some are used to doing with me. Oh wait, go back, I can't see what he's doing. Well, with this model, you can zoom into any portion of it, look underneath it, however you want to. If you actually want to see the files themselves, then you can look at every single part. You can expand to see what's inside. And by the way, I ordered this in the way that we're going to build it. So there's a logic from the top to the bottom. You can build it that way, go at your own pace. But if you want to be entertained, you can watch me, what I'm about to do. This is available on not just iPads, but also on your computer here. So I'm going to just show this. The difference is the navigation on this one is more like mouse-centric. So like I have to rotate, I have to use my middle mouse, and I can spin it all around there. There are some advantages to the computer-based version, you know, and that is there are some cool trying to mouse when I'm, check this out. This is my favorite feature. Totally useless. Boom! I just exploded the whole machine into all its various pieces. And now I can look around at this mess that I've made. But it's kind of fascinating. If you want to see every part in an exploded view, you can just tour it. So Fusion 360 is awesome. We designed in that, and now you can have the benefit of, while you're building, have the actual files that I've drawn, and everything fits together perfectly. But if you want some entertainment, keep watching. I'm going to build this kit. So this is everything that was in the box, and we're going to build a kit from it. So it's really, when you start to break out the stuff that is obvious, you know, yes, we'll need the electronics here in a minute, zip ties, but when you get down to just the nitty-gritty, it's pretty small. And it's pretty crazy that we're going to build a whole printer from just this little box of stuff. But we are. All right. So I'm going to follow the instructions just like that they're followed on the drawing that I have. You probably can't see it, but off camera here I have the Fusion 360 model. And so just roughly, I'm going to start with what I have in the animations for starting with. And that's going to be this plate with all the bearings. I call it the Y-Z Gantry. So I won't need some of this stuff right now. I'm going to put it out of the way. The reason I like to start with this is it's kind of the heart of everything that we do on this bot. It's like this crazy way of smashing your bearings in between metal plates, and it ends up working really good. So that's what we'll start. Now, I do have tools here like our builders use. So I'll try to keep everything pretty central. Move some of this out of the way. I don't think I need any of that yet. Okay. I'm going to fish in here and get my tools out just to show you. Got a couple of Allen wrenches there. Come on. All right. There's that. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is actually determine which is the front and which is the back. So this on the bot is this plate right in here. And so it's going to be kind of the heart of everything that we do here, and that's how it goes on there. But as I look at the front of it, it's going to be a motor plugging in from this side. So let's find everything we need here. I'm going to dump all these out. I know it's kind of crazy. There's a lot of parts in here. I know I need the spacer. I know I need some, what size screws? M322s. Oh, I should have got a ruler so I can measure some of this stuff. But no matter. What printed parts do I need? I don't think I need any printed. Oh yeah, I do need one. All right. I need. See how useful this Fusion 360 is? It's actually helping me build because I want to look to make sure that I'm matching the order. Okay, yeah, that's what I need. I need this part. There it is. That printed part, which is it's a standoff for an end stop, and it's actually the Y end stop there. So let's see what else. I will need an end stop. This is all the wiring. Dump that out. Some of this won't come till much later. That'll come early. All right, I forget which size end stop. Okay, this is the long one. Okay, so I got my end stop. I've got one motor. I've got, oh, I still need my machine nut. Oh, there it is. This bag is kind of the motion hardware bag. So this is the simple, actually it was used in the simple, so we call it the simple Acme nut. Okay. Man, all this prep, but you're going through the same thing at home, so I don't mind that it takes a while. So, here we go. We have to first get this motor mounted to this plate. And it goes like that. Okay? And it has a standoff here. And these are 22, looks like a GT2 pulley. Yeah, we better get that on too. So we're going to put that on. Which way does it go? Yes. Referring to the drawing is going to be awesome. All right, so the first thing I'm doing to get started with this Y-Z plate or gantry or axis or whatever is I am getting this GT2. I'm actually going to cheat by looking at this. I want to see how far out that, okay, I wanted to see how far out the GT2 pulley was. So I just looked in there, and here's how it was. When you have this on here, like so, this actually sticks out quite a ways. So if I would have done it right there, it would have been wrong. So let's get it out a little further. That's looking better. I need a little more even. Okay. Tighten it there and see how that looks. I certainly don't want to start off with it being wrong, because this would be a lot to tear down. looks good. Okay. So I want to make sure that you're orienting the nut correctly. So you've got this side is unique where, I mean, it's not, you can't just flip it on there and put it on any old way. The bar actually comes down through here, the Acme rod will. So you have to clear, you know, underneath this pulley. And I want to make sure I get it right because it's this way or this way, so let me look. So based on this model, the thinnest part goes towards the motor. So there's a thinner part here. It's thinner on this side than this side. This part goes towards the motor. And this is the top. So now we know we're putting it together. Man, I'm going to be referring to that a lot. But let's get some screws happening here. All right, so we need 22. So I have some 25s in here, and I have some 22s. Ooh, that's a new style 25. Let me make sure we're getting the right size. It says 22 works. Yep, 25 is definitely too long. Hold on. Oh, no wonder. Yeah, they're 22. Okay. So we need 22 button head stainless steel. That's why I was looking for black. So let me get my Allen wrenches going. There it is. There it is. All right. You know what? I'm noticing that on this part, I'm going to have to go consult. Check this out. So on this motor, I'm probably discovering something you're discovering too. So this motor needs a little bit of clearance on this part right here. Huh. I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, I'm back. All right, so here's the deal. I did notice that this part needed a little bit of clearance, so we're going to have to modify that part because this motor is different than we've used on the Simple, and it just didn't work really. It was about 1 millimeter off, so not a big deal, but let's be honest, we need to fix those for you. All right, so now we're actually going to build something. So I'm going to stick that out the side. I'm going to put this on the back here. Here. Got my 22. These are ready. This fits right on top. Now we're talking. Okay. Line that up. There we go. Bring this over. Okay, so 3/22 button head screws, the simple Acme nut, one of the motors. That's our first step. Finally, it took forever to get there. Now we're off and running. All right, so why don't we put our first bearing together. So it's basically, it looks like a belt and bearing. Okay, 16 millimeter. So I've got an M4 16 millimeter screw there, and 2 of these 624 bearings, and then 1 washer on the bottom. I'm taking the time I need to call out the correct screws, because my biggest problem I've done in past videos is I've not called out the screw size, or I've called out the wrong screw size. And since I have the drawing right here, I'm just referring to those. All right. So on the drawing, you'll notice that the belt actually, there's 2 belts here. They look like they're the same. But the way the belt is threaded through, it seems a little bit odd, but it saves. So it comes from the back across the top of this bearing. So we got to do it like this. Yeah, it comes across the top and then S-curve. So it's like that. So that's how it will go here in a moment. But we're going to leave this out for now because I want to put these bearings on. But the next thing that I show in the instructions is actually the Y end stop spacer. So that's this guy. Now on our end stop, here it is. Get around to where I can see what I'm doing. All right, so it goes right here. The screws for the end stop are at the top. So I could go ahead and put this part of it together before I put it on there. So these are, I'm trying to find the size, number 2 1/2-inch plastite screws, so they're smaller. Plastite screws get really good purchase on the plastic. So we're going to put that together. 2 of those little suckers. And you need a pretty fine Phillips head, hope I have one here, to be able to get these to screw in. Oh yeah. That actually went in really nice. I used to use M3 screws for about everything, or M4, but they don't have the thread pattern that grabs plastic very well. So these plastites are exactly the right tool for the job. So they grip really good. So I'll go to the other side, which uses number 4. So they're a little more meaty. Number 4 plastite, 1/2-inch screws. And we have a lot of number 4 plastites here. We use them, pretty, not exclusively, but we use them a lot on this because we're going into plastic parts. So that's the right thing to do. Now on these, what you want is to get it, especially when it's these number 4, these little bigger ones, you want to just get it hand tight first. And I always check to see how sturdy it feels when you you get done. There's probably a little slop in some of these holes, so if something isn't straight, you can line it up so it looks straight and it hasn't got tweaked. Because there's a little play in some of these holes, which is fine. There, that looks really good. Now before I cover these over to a place where I won't be able to reach them anymore, I'm going to make sure they're just as tight by hand as I can, because I don't trust I've got a drill over here, but I don't trust it for the clutch to be perfect every time. So that's done. Now what's next? We're going to go to the bearing clamps, the Z bearing clamps. And those, is that right? Yes. The Z bearing clamps are the up and downs. They're the ones that are accessible from the back here. And as you can probably guess, these bearings fit in here like so. You can probably see that. And then these lay over the top. And let me see if they're mirrored, which means like do I have to pay attention to how I hold them. It looks like they're totally mirrored both directions, so you can pretty much put them on here however you want. And they should match up with the holes. So these are identical parts. And you will need, what size? 16, M316, 4 of them. So you know they're the right size when they barely reach, basically. I am kind of familiar with these lengths, so if you need to get out something to measure these with, don't feel silly, because that's what you need to do to get the right length. If you use the wrong length in one place, then you'll come up short. Could happen. So what I'm doing is if you have one of these and you tighten too far down, you see that's going to tilt that plate. You want that plate to be totally parallel with the plate behind it. So be careful. I like to get one on one side, one on the other. Is that the right size? Yes. Then just get them finger tight until I've got it level. See how it kind of pulled down that side when I just have one in. But I can counteract that a little bit if I get the other in the other side. There. So, making sure they're fairly level. I'm looking at them straight down. I kind of like how that's going. All the bearings are seated. Looks pretty good. Now you may want to pursue some Loctite. Just the nature of these screws and this metal is, you might have to check it once in a while to make sure everything's tight, or something might come loose. You got to tighten it up again. Not all of these are easy to access. You can see that on these. Oh, doggone it, I just broke that. Anyway, you can't get to all the screws. Like I can barely reach a couple of these, but you're not going to be able to get to all of them. So I didn't break my end stop, but I did kick this off, so I got to fix that now. There, it goes right back in. Okay. So anyway, so how tight is tight enough? Well, I'm just using my fingers, and I know it's getting pretty tight. I have pretty strong hands because I've been turning screws for 6 years. but that's feeling really good. Now, you could check this now to make sure everything's working fine. Be very careful when you put these in. I like to wiggle them a little bit. Don't just shove them through because bearings will pop out. And you'll be buying yourself some new bearings. So I am very, very dainty when putting these in. I just kind of shake them around so they find center. And if they fight you very much at all, stop it. But these are working really well. So that's awesome. They're on line. Now, I don't really even need these in here, but it makes me feel better. I even wonder, I'm going to try loosening these back just because we're doing entertainment here and not an exact, how to. I'm going to try putting tightening these down with them on the bars already to see if I get any better result. It is a good result. This side felt slightly more rough when I put them together without the bars being in, so let's test it. Okay, so they're aligned right now. Again, I'm doing the same thing, just barely getting them finger tight to get everything flat. Feels good. Now I'm tightening them down a little more and checking again. Yeah, it's good stuff. Seemed to work better with the bars inside the bearings. So we'll go with that. All right, on to the next part. So now I need my bearings for here. So I'm going to put 4 bearings right here. And I think that's pretty much it. So on to, got that one and that one. We call this the Y bearing clamp. And again, I'm taking great care to follow along with the instructions. I say instructions, with the model. And I've organized everything in the order that it is to be built. So it looks like we're pretty courteous here. This is Steve, not me. He's more courteous than I. So he's putting access to these screws through here. So that's what these cutouts are for. We can get to it there. But we still need 16 millimeter, more 16 millimeter screws. So there'll be 1 here, 2, 3, switch this around, 4, come here, 5, and is that 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, great. And the same thing as last time, I'm going to go ahead and put these together with the bars in there. So I'm just holding the plate in place right now. Yeah, I like that. Now, oops. There it is. So I'm just going to get them flat to the surface on top. Just finger tight. All right, so now I can tighten them down a little bit. You don't want to, aluminum is pretty soft, and the strength of, if you had a big handle on this, or even if you were doing it like this, I mean, the strength that you can get with a lever like that is pretty crazy. So you can bend things, and when you bend things, you start to break things and strip out holes, and you know, these are just tapped. So you can, it's an aluminum tapped hole, but it's a steel, you know, like a hardened steel on the screw. So I mean, you can ruin stuff. So just, it's better to be a little bit dainty. You go finger tight and then maybe an eighth or a quarter turn beyond. I like to get them all evenly torqued for the best results. Now, this is the time to route your belt. So it's kind of funny the way this, it's an S-curve. So we've left room in here for you to do at least this much. But then after you get past, you know, you got to push your belt through here. Okay, so I hope you can see that. And again, if you can't see it, you can look at it in the drawing. But so that's, you know, the main heart of our build right there. The other stuff's going to go pretty fast. So we've got done with the Y-bearing clamp. I'm feeling good. That pretty much concludes our assembly of the Y-Z Gantry, because it handles the Z and the Y. All right, so let's move on.